Welcome to my channel, my friend. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt stuck with English? Like, no matter how hard you try, you still can't speak? I felt the same. I had no teacher, no classroom, no special tools. But still, I learned English in just 3 months. How? Stay with me till the end. This video is not just a story, it's a mirror. You might see your journey inside it. So, comment below, have you ever tried learning English without a teacher? Let's begin. Chapter 1. The day I decided to change my life. I remember that evening like it happened yesterday. I was sitting alone, holding my phone, watching a video in English. The people on the screen were talking fast. They were laughing, sharing stories, asking questions. But I could not understand them. Not even one full sentence. Just sounds, just noise. It was like I was locked outside a room and everyone else was inside, warm and happy, speaking a language I didn't know. And I felt cold. I felt small. I felt like I didn't belong. That moment stayed in my heart. It hurt, but it also woke me up. For so long, I told myself, English is not for me. I thought only lucky people could learn it. People with money, people with teachers, people who travel. But I had none of those things. I had no teacher. No travel, no special course. And still, I wanted to understand. I wanted to reply. I wanted to speak and feel proud. But I was stuck. I was tired of saying, sorry, I don't speak English. I was tired of being silent when someone asked me a question in English. I wanted to change. I needed to change. So that night, I made a promise to myself. It was a small promise, but it was strong. I stood in front of the mirror and said, you will learn English. Even if it's hard, even if you're alone, even if nobody helps you, you will do it. My eyes were tired, my heart was nervous, but my voice was sure. It was the first time I believed in myself, not because someone told me I could do it, but because I finally told myself I must. That moment was not loud. There was no music, no celebration, just me and the mirror. But something inside me changed forever. The next morning, I started fresh. I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a perfect book. But I had one thing, desire, and that was enough. I took a notebook and wrote 3 simple words, learn English today. That was my start. No big goals, no big dreams, just one small action. I downloaded a free app. I typed English for Beginners. I played a simple video, ABC sounds. A is for apple. B is for ball. And I listened. I repeated. I smiled. Because finally, I was not just watching other people speak English. I was trying too. That day, I told myself something important. You don't need a teacher to begin. You just need a reason. And my reason was big. I wanted freedom. I wanted to talk to people from other countries. I wanted to read books, watch movies, understand the world. But even more than that, I wanted to believe in myself. I wanted to prove that I can start from zero and still grow. I didn't want to wait for the perfect day. I didn't want to wait for someone to teach me. I wanted to be my own teacher. I wanted to be my own hero. It wasn't easy. That first week, I felt stupid many times. I mispronounced words. I forgot them after 5 minutes. I listened to the same video again and again, but I didn't stop. And that was my power. I told myself, it's okay to forget. Just don't give up. I knew I couldn't learn everything in one day, but I could learn something each day. One word, one sentence, one try. I started slow, but I started strong. Looking back, that day, the day I decided to learn English, was the most powerful day of my life. Not because I learned a new word, but because I changed my mind. I stopped saying I can't. I started saying I will. And that change, my friend, is the real beginning of fluency. It doesn't come from books. It doesn't come from schools. It starts in your heart. When you decide, I want to speak, I want to grow, I want to become more, that's when everything changes. So, if you are watching this video and you feel like I did, confused, shy, lost, I want to tell you something. You are not alone. I was there too. And if I can learn English in 3 months without a teacher, so can you. Just make the promise, a small one, but keep it every single day. That's how change begins. Chapter 2. My first week, no plan, just action. The first week was full of confusion, but it was also full of hope. I did not have a map. I did not have a plan, but I had a feeling inside me that said, start now. Do something. Don't wait. So I listened to that voice. I opened my phone, searched for English beginner lessons, and clicked on the first video. I did not understand every word, but I did not close it. I watched it again and again. Something inside me said, keep going. Don't stop now. And I didn't. I remember one morning, I played a short cartoon video. It was just 2 minutes long. A boy said, "Hello, I am Tom. I like apples." That's it, just a simple line. But I paused it. I repeated after him. "Hello, I am Tom." Then I said it again. I changed the name. "Hello, I am Adam." Then, "I like apples." I repeated these words 5, 6, 10 times. I said them out loud. I whispered them. I looked in the mirror and spoke like I was talking to someone real. And it felt amazing. It was the first time I spoke a full English sentence with confidence. That small moment gave me energy. It gave me belief. I realized something powerful. I didn't need a teacher to repeat words. I didn't need a classroom to speak. I just needed to open my mouth. And when I did, the fear started to leave. On the second day, I started watching more videos. Very slow, simple ones. The kind made for kids. But they were perfect for me. The pictures helped. The voices were clear. I started to recognize sounds. The word cat came up. I saw a cat on the screen. The sound and the image became one in my brain. Cat. I said it. I knew it. In those first days, I also found something special. Subtitles. I watched videos with English subtitles. I read every word, slowly. Sometimes I paused the video and read the line again. What are you doing? I paused. I said it out loud. What are you doing? I tried to copy the tone, the rhythm. I didn't understand the full meaning yet, but I was building the sound. I was building the music of English. I didn't know it then,
but I was training my ears and my mouth together. By the fourth day, I made a small rule for myself: no day without English. Not even one. Even if I was tired, even if I only had 10 minutes, I promised myself I will do something in English. I don't care how small it is. And that decision was powerful, because small actions repeated every day become big results. I didn't try to be perfect. I just tried to be present. That was the secret. No pressure, just practice. I also started shadowing. I didn't know the word shadowing at the time, but I did it. I listened to a speaker and repeated right after them, like an echo. They said, "This is my house." I said, "This is my house." They said, "I have 2 brothers." I said it too. It felt strange in the beginning. My tongue was slow. My brain was behind. But the more I did it, the faster I became. My mouth started to move without thinking too much. I was copying real speech. I was becoming part of it. Every night, I felt proud. Not because I became fluent, no, I was still very basic, but because I showed up. I gave myself time. I chose not to give up. And that's when I realized the biggest lesson of the first week. Action is better than waiting. I didn't wait for a perfect moment. I didn't wait for a native speaker to help me. I didn't wait for a classroom. I created my own classroom, in my room, with my phone, with my voice. By the end of the first week, I had a small list of English phrases I could say without reading. My name is Adam. I am learning English. I like music. Just a few sentences, but they were mine. I owned them. I could say them anywhere. That felt powerful. I wrote those sentences in my notebook. I decorated the page with a smiley face. I knew this was just the beginning, but it was a beautiful one. So if you are in your first week right now, feeling lost, don't worry. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need a brave heart. Watch, repeat, speak. Even if you make mistakes, even if you forget, just keep moving. Because fluency is not a race. It's a journey, and you are already on your way. Chapter 3: How I Made My Own English World. After my first week of learning, something strange started to happen. Everywhere I looked, I saw English. When I looked at my phone, I thought, what is the English word for this app? When I picked up a cup, I asked myself, how do I say this in English? It was like my brain had turned on a new light. I didn't know all the words, but I wanted to. And that feeling gave me an idea. If I could not go to an English-speaking country, maybe I could bring English into my world. Maybe I could turn my home into my classroom. So I made a plan, a small one. First, I went to every room in my house and looked at the things I use every day. Table, chair, mirror, door, window, spoon, bed, clock. Then I took small pieces of paper and wrote the English names of these things. Mirror, door, chair. I taped the paper to the object. So every time I opened the door, I saw the word door. When I looked in the mirror, I saw mirror. It was funny at first. My family asked, "What are you doing?" I smiled and said, "I am building my English world." This simple method helped me a lot. Every time I walked around my house, I saw English. I didn't need to sit and study. The words came to me. They followed me.
They became my friends. I started using them in small sentences. I open the door. I sit on the chair. I look in the mirror. These were not hard sentences, but they made me feel like I was using English in real life. I felt more confident. I was not just learning words, I was living with them. Then I made another small change. I went into my phone settings and changed the language to English. At first, I was nervous. What if I couldn't find things? What if I got lost in my own phone? But I decided to try. And guess what? It helped me more than I expected. Every time I opened my phone, I saw English. Settings, messages, calendar. I didn't have to memorize, I just used them again and again. And soon they felt natural. I started to understand more words just by using them every day. After that, I started watching short English videos during breakfast. It became my morning routine. While I ate, I listened. I watched slow videos with subtitles. I repeated the words with my mouth full. "Good morning. What are you doing today?" I laughed when I said things wrong. I smiled when I said things right. I was creating small English habits in my day. No pressure, just practice. I also made playlists with English songs. I picked songs with slow lyrics. At first, I did not understand the meaning, but I liked the sound. I repeated the lines I could catch. I searched for the lyrics and read them. One day, I understood a full line. "You are not alone." I felt that line deep in my heart. It was not just music, it was a message. A message that told me, "You are learning. You are doing great." Soon, my world was full of English. I wrote my to-do list in English. I made my shopping list in English. I talked to myself in English while cleaning the room. "Let's make the bed." Now I wash the dishes. It felt like I had an English friend inside my head and we talked all the time. I didn't feel shy because no one was listening. I could try, fail, and try again. Every night before sleep, I opened my notebook and wrote a few simple lines in English. Today was a good day. I learned 3 new words. I feel happy. These sentences were not perfect, but they were mine. I was building my English world one word at a time. This chapter of my journey taught me something very important. You don't need a teacher to learn English. You don't need a classroom. You don't even need a big plan. You just need to bring English into your world, into your phone, into your house, into your daily life. When English is everywhere, you don't feel like a student anymore. You feel like a speaker. So, my friend, if you want to learn English fast, make your own English world. Start with your room. Start with your phone. Start with your daily life. And speak, even if it's just to yourself, because that small action will open a big door, just like it did for me. Chapter 4. Speaking to Myself. The Secret Practice. One day I was sitting alone in my room. The house was quiet. No one was around. I had just watched a short English video and the speaker said, "Talk to yourself in English. It will help you speak better." At first I laughed. Talk to myself? That sounds strange, I thought. But I wanted to speak English. I really wanted to. So I decided to try. I stood in front of the mirror. I looked at my face and I said, "Hello, how are you?" Then I smiled. I answered, "I'm fine, thank you." It felt funny, but also fun. I did it again and again. And that's how my secret practice began. Every day after that, I made time to talk to myself. I started small, just simple questions and answers. What is your name? My name is Adam. Where are you from? I'm from Pakistan. I asked myself the same things again and again. And every time I answered out loud. My voice was slow. My pronunciation was not perfect. But that did not matter. I was speaking English. Even if no one else heard it, I heard it. My ears, my mouth, and my brain were working together. I was teaching myself without fear. The best part about speaking to myself was this: I was never afraid to make mistakes. No one was listening. No one was judging. I could try, fail, laugh, and try again. I practiced greetings, daily routines, even jokes. I said things like, "I am going to the kitchen now. I will make tea. Then I will study." These were simple sentences, but they were part of my real life. I was using English for my own world. That made it feel useful. That made it stick in my memory. Sometimes I created fake situations in my mind. I imagined I was at a restaurant. I would say, "Hello, can I have a cup of tea, please?" Then I imagined the waiter saying, "Sure, anything else?" And I replied, "No, thank you." I smiled as I did this. I was playing a small game. But at the same time, I was learning real English. English that I could use later in real life. I did this again and again. In home, in my room, while walking, even in the bathroom. My mind was always practicing.
One day, while walking alone to the market, I started speaking English quietly. I said, "Today I will buy bread, eggs, and milk." Then I looked around and named the things I saw: tree, car, dog, shop. I made small sentences. The dog is running. That shop sells fruit. People around me didn't notice. And even if they did, I didn't care. I was learning. I was getting stronger. And every word I spoke made me feel more confident. After 1 week of speaking to myself, I noticed a big change. I didn't freeze when I wanted to speak. My brain started to find words faster. My tongue moved more easily. My voice felt stronger. I started to think in English. Very simple thoughts, but still, they were in English. It's hot today. I'm hungry. I like this song. These thoughts came naturally. I was no longer translating in my head. I was just thinking in English. I also started to use the mirror more. Looking at myself while speaking helped me improve my expression, my mouth shape, and my confidence. Sometimes I would act like I was making a YouTube video. "Hello, friends. Today I will show you my English notebook." I laughed while doing it, but I was also serious. I was training myself to speak clearly and naturally. I was becoming my own English coach. This chapter in my journey was very powerful. It showed me that I didn't have to wait for someone to talk to me. I didn't need a partner. I was already enough. My voice, my mind, and my daily life, these were my tools, and they were always with me. Speaking to myself was not a silly thing. It was a secret weapon. It made my English faster. It made my confidence grow. It made me feel free. So if you are learning English and you have no one to talk to yourself. Talk in the mirror. Talk while cooking. Talk while walking. Ask questions. Give answers. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Don't be shy. Don't wait.
The best partner you have is you. And when you speak to yourself, you build the voice that one day will speak to the world. Chapter 5. I turned every minute into a lesson. One day, I looked at the clock and felt sad. So many hours had passed, but I had not practiced English. I was busy. I was tired. I told myself, maybe I will try tomorrow. But then I stopped. I asked myself a new question. Do I really need 1 full hour to practice English? What if I only had 10 minutes? What if I only had 5? Could I still learn something? That question changed everything. That day, I made a new rule. I will not waste time. I will turn every small minute into a lesson. I started with waiting time. When I waited for the bus, I used that time. I opened a note in my phone with new English words. I read them again and again. I said them quietly. I made short sentences in my mind. Bus stop. I am waiting for the bus. The bus is coming. That 5-minute wait was now a full English practice session. I did the same when I waited in line, waited for food, waited for anything. I stopped scrolling for no reason. I started learning with purpose. Next, I used walking time. I walked to the shop every evening. It was a short walk, maybe 10 minutes, but I used that time to talk to myself in English. I need to buy bread. This road is busy. That man has a blue bag. I didn't stay silent anymore. I didn't let those minutes disappear. I made them useful. Step by step, word by word, I was turning my steps into lessons. Then I started using cooking time. I like to make tea and simple meals. While doing that, I spoke out loud. I am boiling water. I will cut the onion. Now I add some salt. These were real things from my life. I didn't need a textbook. My kitchen became my classroom. I laughed when I made mistakes. I repeated the words again. This was fun, and this was real. I was not just studying English, I was living in English. I also found something powerful, the power of small lists. Before sleep, I made a small English plan for the next day. Just 3 things. 1. Learn 5 new words. 2. Repeat old sentences. 3. Watch 1 English video. These tasks were small, but I did them. I didn't wait for a perfect study time. I used little moments. Between lunch and work, during a short break, before sleep. These moments added up. One day I realized I was practicing English more than ever, but it didn't feel hard, it felt easy, because I was using time I already had. I also used music. I made a playlist with English songs that had slow and clear lyrics. I listened while doing housework. I sang along. I didn't worry about understanding everything. I just enjoyed the sound, the rhythm. Slowly, the words became clear. 1 line, then 2. I looked up the lyrics. I matched them with the song. I was learning without feeling like I was studying. One of my favorite lessons happened during a phone call. I got a spam call in English. The person said, "Hello, can you hear me?" And I understood it. I was so surprised. I didn't even care who it was. I just smiled, because this time I didn't feel lost. That small sentence showed me. All those small minutes were working. My ears were learning. My brain was growing. My confidence was building. I started looking at everything around me like an English tool. A shampoo bottle? Read the label. A signboard on the road? Say it in English. A WhatsApp message? Try to reply in English. Even if I wrote slowly, even if I made mistakes, I tried. I was using my real life as my classroom. And it worked. That's the secret I want to share in this chapter. You don't need 2 hours of study. You need small minutes and the right mindset.
If you can give 5 minutes, give it with focus. Use your time like gold. Don't say, "I don't have time." Say, "I will find small time." Those small times will change your life. They changed mine. So, my friend, if you're busy, don't worry. You don't need more hours. You need more attention. Turn your day into a learning path. Talk while walking. Listen while working. Think in English while cooking. Read one sentence while waiting. These small acts are your secret power. Use them. Trust them. And soon, English will become a natural part of your life, minute by minute, word by word.
Chapter 6. My Mistakes, My Teachers. When I first started learning English, I was afraid of one thing the most: making mistakes. I thought mistakes were bad. I thought mistakes meant I was stupid. I thought if I said the wrong word, people would laugh. So for many days, I stayed quiet. I waited. I practiced in my head, but not with my mouth. I kept thinking, what if I say it wrong? That fear was heavy. It followed me everywhere. Until one day, I made a mistake, and it changed my life. I remember it clearly. I was trying to say, "I am hungry," but I said, "I am angry." The person I was talking to looked surprised. Then they laughed and said, "You mean hungry?" I felt my face turn red. I wanted to run away. But then something happened. The person smiled and said, "Don't worry. I make mistakes in your language too." We both laughed. The fear broke. That was the moment I understood a simple truth. Mistakes are not the end. They are the beginning. From that day, I started speaking more. I made many mistakes. I said she instead of he. I said chicken when I meant kitchen. I forgot words. I mixed up sentences. But each time I learned something new. I wrote the mistake in my notebook. I found the correct way. I said it again and again until it felt right. Every mistake became a small teacher, one that stayed in my memory forever. I also changed how I reacted to mistakes. Before, I felt ashamed. Now, I felt curious. Why did I say it wrong? What is the correct way? I stopped judging myself. I started helping myself. If I forgot a word, I said, "That's okay, I will learn it now." If someone corrected me, I said, "Thank you." I became a student of my own errors, and it made me strong. One of my biggest lessons came from a voice message. I had a friend online who was also learning English. We sent each other voice notes. One day, I sent a message saying, "I went to the store and buy apples." He replied kindly, "It's bought, not buy." I smiled. He didn't make fun of me. He helped me. And now, I never forget the word bought. That mistake became a memory, and that memory became a part of my English. I also learned to laugh at myself. Once I told someone, "I eat books." I wanted to say, "I read books." We both laughed so hard. But now, I never forget the word read. Sometimes the funniest mistakes are the best lessons. They stay with you longer than anything you study from a book, because you feel something. You remember the moment, and that feeling becomes learning. Mistakes also helped me listen better. I started to notice the small sounds in words. I listened more closely to native speakers.
I repeated their sentences with care. I asked myself, what do they say? How do they say it? I copied their rhythm, their tone, their word order. I was not just learning grammar. I was learning the music of English. And every small mistake was like a missing note that I could now hear and fix. With every mistake, my fear became smaller. My courage became bigger. I no longer waited to be perfect. I started speaking even when I was unsure. I made bold guesses. I tried new sentences. Some were wrong, but many were right. And the more I spoke, the more I improved. My mistakes were not walls. They were doors, and I walked through them one by one. So, my dear friend, don't be afraid of mistakes. Welcome them. Let them teach you. Let them shape you. If you wait to be perfect, you will wait forever. But if you try, even with broken words, you will grow. You will learn. You will fly. Speak with mistakes. Write with mistakes. Think with mistakes. Because behind every wrong word, there is a right one waiting to be found. And the more mistakes you make, the closer you get to fluency. Remember this, you don't need to be perfect to be proud. You only need to be brave. And bravery means trying again and again, even when you fall.
Chapter 7. 3 months later, the moment that changed everything. 3 months had passed. Day by day, I was learning. Word by word, I was growing. I did not feel fluent. I still made mistakes. But something was different now. I was not afraid. I was not lost. English was no longer a stranger. It was becoming my friend. I had worked hard. I had spoken to myself. I'd watched videos, written small sentences, and turned every little minute into practice. But still, I didn't know how much I had changed. Not until that one day. It was a normal afternoon. I was walking to the market to buy some bread. The sun was hot, and I was thinking in English, like I always did now. I will get 2 breads, no, 2 loaves of bread. I smiled at the small correction in my head. Suddenly, I saw a tourist couple asking a shopkeeper something, but the shopkeeper looked confused. They were speaking in English, and he didn't understand. I stood there for a moment, just watching. I felt my heart beat faster. The old me would have walked away. But this time, I walked closer. The man looked at me and asked, "Excuse me, do you know where the post office is?" And in that moment, I opened my mouth, without fear, without thinking too much, and said, "Yes, it's near the mosque. Just go straight and turn left. You will see it." The man smiled and said, "Thank you so much." The woman said, "Your English is very clear." I smiled back. "Thank you," I said. And then I walked away slowly. But inside, I was flying. That small conversation was only 15 seconds long, but to me, it was everything. For the first time in my life, I had used English in the real world. Not in my room, not in front of the mirror, not in my notebook, but with real people. I understood them. They understood me. And in that moment, I realized, I can speak English now. I really can. When I got home, I sat on my bed quietly. I felt like crying, not because I was sad, but because I was proud. I thought about all the hard days, all the small steps, all the mistakes, all the times I almost gave up, but I didn't. I kept going. And now I could help someone with my English. I could speak clearly. I could make someone smile.
That was the moment I knew these 3 months were not just about learning a language, they were about changing my life. After that day, something opened inside me. My confidence grew. I started speaking more. I joined a small online group where people practiced English. I shared my story. They cheered me on. I started watching longer videos. I understood more. I laughed at the jokes. I sang with the songs. I read small books and wrote my thoughts in English. I was not perfect, but I was free. I didn't wait for words anymore. I found them. Sometimes I look back at the boy I was before, the boy who was scared to say hello, the boy who thought he needed a teacher, a school, a big book, and I smile, because that boy never gave up. He just needed a small push, a small dream, and some daily courage. He didn't have much, but he had heart, and heart is what builds fluency. So now, my friend, I tell you this from my heart. You can do it too. If I, a shy learner with no teacher, no classroom, and no perfect plan, if I can speak English in 3 months, so can you. It won't be easy every day, but it will be worth it. Speak alone. Think in English. Use your world. Welcome your mistakes. And keep going, one word at a time. Your big moment is waiting. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe next week. But it will come. Someone will ask you something in English, and you will answer, not just with your words, but with your heart.